standing up to adversity, and a lot of stuff that you learn in sports that helps, I think, on that question of the divide. And I think that that's not something that we're using in Israel because the culture is different and we're not a sports-minded country. But that's my personal question.
Yeah, my question is whether you think, whether you go around and you've done demonstration-based education like this, and whether such education is sustainable or whether there has to be like a participatory component to it.
The demonstrations are only, you might call it a douve devant, the cherry on the icing, or the icing on the cake. You can't just do this alone. I mean, there has to be, things have to be structured, and there has to be, but what I'm trying to say is, don't forget, I tell my teachers, don't forget, the motivation is a big part of learning. So you're motivated to find out, and I probably did it too fast, but we could have gone on for a long time looking at what's really going on here with heat and with centrifugal force and who knows what. So I think that I would like to see more blending in of this stuff. And the same thing with project-based learning. I don't think project-based learning is something you would do all the time. I think if you could do that as 20% of the curriculum, then that's fine, 25%. I wouldn't do it all the time. I think that traditional learning about concepts and reading and summarizing and that kind of stuff, but doing it again maybe in a chevruta approach and keep people giving. Sorry about that. That doing things in a way which is cooperative and teaching for understanding and having more participation. Kids giving reports or kids doing things that they're interested in. You know, one of the nice things about doing this project-based learning stuff is that we can take any subject we want and we can teach the main ideas of that subject and we can have the kids do projects. We found a way of having our cake and eat it or have the shekel burn and still be around afterwards. And the reason why it works is because you basically set the stage. A teacher is somebody who sets the stage. And if you set the stage, and as a parent you do the same thing, and you're clear about what that stage is and how you're going to act on that stage, I think you make a difference. So I don't think it's just doing the fun and game stuff. That's what you saw here, but it's a lot more in depth.
Do you think that if you were to do a demonstration, let's say at one point, maybe a short one, or a short series, that you could get enough kids in the audience like inspired to learn more about sciences, or if you had like some secondary curriculum that you launched like at a separate date or like a little bit later on, like the next day, let's say, I mean, do you think that they'd already lose that spark, or do you think that you'd be able to attract a few kids? I'm asking you because I'm doing a performance-based project.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd like to talk to you about that. I think there's a lot you can do to link performance with sustain it over time. One of the areas I've been involved with is actually trying to look at the bridging the gap between formal and informal science. Mm-hmm. So how do you take kids to a science fair, which is a whiz-bang kind of a thing, like this, and how do you connect it to learning? So what we found is if you prepare the kids ahead of time to go to a science fair or to a natural history museum, and you tell them some of the things that they're going to be looking at, or you get them interested in some of the questions, and you inspire them to pay attention more to that, they get to the site, and then they go back after they have the experience, and they follow up on it. They may analyze the data, they might talk about what they did, but you then now have a much more integrated approach as opposed to, well, let's go to the Science Museum. So I think that performance-based project can be really good, but I think the bookends are really important. Okay, so I have an activity for you. I think this is a time where everybody, the food has sort of hit our brains and we're kind of tired and too much talking. So what I want to do is to do something that is involved with or systematic organizing. And I'll pass this out and then we'll go through it, and you can work in teams and see. This is all based on the same kind of stuff that you saw now. It's just in a different format. Okay. Here you go. Okay, so this is 2 pages. and there's sort of like the overview of what the process involves. And then on the second page, you'll see then an organizing checklist. So let's go through the first page, and the second page is where the assignment is.